Hello, hello everyone. Happy Tuesday. It's Barb Reed, the Wexford Stamper. So happy to see everyone on this rainy Tuesday. Watch as you come in. Go ahead and put your name up in the comments so I can see who's watching tonight. Hope everyone is doing well. We've had a lot of nice weather, so I don't mind a little bit of rain this evening. So, hey Deb. Hi Renee. Hello, hello. Good to see everyone. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Like to be prompt. All right, tonight we have our last project using the Sweet Songbirds bundle. And that includes, let me go ahead and show you those items. This is the Sweet Songbirds bundle. It is a punch and a photopolymer set, stamp set. So cute. I've had so much fun playing around with it. And this is what we'll be using this evening, as well as some of that delicious new DSP with the new in colors. We're going to be using that again. I've been loving those on all my project as well. As you can see on my pull and pop cards that we did last week, I have used lots and lots of the gorgeous paper. Oh, you're gonna love it, Renee. You're gonna love the birds. Hey, Joanne. So these are 3 of the colors that I've used already. This is the DSP, in color DSP. This is Orchid Oasis, Sweet Sorbet, I want to say Tempting Turquoise, but that's not right. Tahitian Tide, there we go. Tonight we're going to use a little piece from the in color pack of the Parakeet Party. Okay, as well as a piece of the cardstock at the top. So let's go ahead and get started. As always, there will be a PDF on my blog that will be placed up there very shortly after my Facebook Live. Has all the dimensions, all the products I used. And if you have any questions, of course, you can always contact me either through my VIP page or you can just message me on Facebook. So whatever you like. So let's talk about tonight's project a little bit more. This is my little junior steno pad. Okay, it's the smaller of the steno pads. I got a whole big stack of these from Sam's Club for less than $1 each. So it was a really, really great buy. But these are the junior steno pads. Let me go ahead and measure them, exactly their size. Okay, they are 5 by 8. 5 by 8 junior steno pads. Okay, and I used to make these all the time for gifts for my team or gifts for my customers. And I always used to just adhere the tablet to the back of the cover. And then I thought to myself, well, if we do that, then when the tablet's all gone, other than try to rip it off and put on another one, it really is kind of the end of it. So I kind of thought about a way that I could make it reusable. And let me show you how I did that. Okay, I put this little belly band, it's kind of like a belly band, on the back so that you can slide your old tablet off once you're done. And then you can go ahead and slide a brand new tablet in there. So I have to put it down on the ground so that I can get it in there. So then once you finish one tablet, you can go ahead and put another one right in there. And there we go. And slide it right on in. And then you can reuse it again and again and again. So I thought that was a great design and I wanted to share that with you guys. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Let's put our cards over here. Okay, what you're going to start with is a piece of 8.5 by 11 starry sky, starry sky. I always want to say starry night, but that's the painting. Starry sky cardstock. No cutting, just the way it comes right out of the pack. And you know that along this long side, it is 11 inches long, okay? So you know that the halfway point is 5.5. So how you want to score this is you're going to score at 5 3/8 and 5 5/8. So you're going to score 1/8 of an inch to each side of the middle, and that's going to create that 1/4 inch binding on the end. All right, so you're going to score at 5 3/8, 5 5/8. Okay, that's all the scoring you have to do. Then you're going to go ahead and just fold over on those score lines. And that's what's nice about this junior steno pad. It fits perfectly in here without cutting your cardstock at all. So this makes it a nice, quick gift you can make. And now if I hold it this way, you can see there is a 1/4 of an inch there. That's all the thickness you need to get your little pad of paper in there. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull out this steno pad. Will you go ahead and use this one? Okay, so this is the pad. Now, if you want to, you can use a piece of coordinating DSP here. I use the Parakeet Party, and this is cut at 1 inch by 5 inches, and you can just adhere it right to that top portion of the tablet where you tear off your pages. So that's another way you can decorate it. All right, then I'm going to use some Parakeet Party cardstock to show you the belly band so you can see it a little better than the other one was the same color as the cover. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to take this belly band and you're going to pull up all the pages of your tablet, and you're going to just lay this right on the back of your tablet, the cardboard backing, and you want to have about the same amount of cardstock on either side of the backing. All right, then you're just going to close it down. You're going to pick it up, turn it over, and then you're going to carefully just fold over the strip to the back. Now, you don't want it to be real tight, so you want to kind of let it fold on the edges, but not a real tight fit. Okay, then what you're going to do is you're going to take I would use either liquid glue or tear and tape, and you want to glue down the strip to make your belly band. Now, you don't want to get any of the glue on the backing of your tablet. Okay, then once that's done, you can see mine has a little bit of a gap, so that's going to mean that it's a little loose, and that's what we want. We want to give it a little bit of room so that we can slide it on and off. Okay, once that's pretty secure, you're going to want to slide this all the way up to the top of the tablet. It'll stop right when it gets up to the perforation point. Okay, and once you have that there, then you're going to go ahead and take your Tombow again, and you're going to put a little bit of Tombow along the back of the belly band. Okay, you're now going to open up on the inside of your folder that you just created. And this is why I like to use the liquid glue. It gives me a little time to move things around. Then I'm going to go ahead and place this where I want it to be on the back of my notepad cover, and push that down really well. And I'm going to let that go, and we'll show you what it's like when we are finished our project. Let that get dry a little bit. But there we go. Now we are ready. That's how quickly we got our tablet together, and now it's time to just do some decorating on the front. So it's not a difficult project at all. All right, now I'm going to bring in what I use to decorate the front of my tablet here, and I used 2 pieces of paper here. One is a cardstock panel of Parakeet Party, and one is a coordinating of the DSP Parakeet Party. Both are cut at 4 inches by 4 7/8. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Tombow and I'm going to stack these on top of each other, okay, on the front of my notepad cover. Okay. You could do it the other way if you'd like. You could put the DSP on top. You can make it all DSP. You can make it all cardstock, whatever. You know, this is just an idea that you can use with any designer series paper, any stamp set, any suite. This is just a great idea for those friends of yours that are list makers and planners. This is just a great one to use. Okay, now to finish off that first layer, we're going to bring in a piece of the Starry Sky. And this is 1 1/4 inch by 5 inches. And I'm going to put that across right where our 2 pieces of our 2 panels come together that we just put down. And this just gives it a cleaner look on the front. Okay, and that's going to cross over onto the sides there. All right, so there's our first part. Very simple. All right, let's go ahead and do our stamping. We're going to put that aside here. I'm going to grab my piece of basic white cardstock. This is just a scrap, and I'm going to go ahead and do some stamping here. Okay, get out my colors here. We're going to start with the early espresso, and that will be for our nest. And I'm going to put that right here at the corner there. All right, so there's our nest. And then the next 2 colors, we have the Parakeet Party and the soft suede, and we're going to make our little tree branch using this. Okay, so grab my stamp here with the little tree branch. Whoop! Don't drop it. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and put that over here on this part of my scrap paper. And then I'm going to bring in the leaves. Okay, these are little coordinating leaves that are perfectly positioned to stamp right on the end of your branch. Okay, so those are 2 very important images that we wanted to make for the front of our notepad. So I'm going to quickly take my paper snips and we're going to go ahead and cut these out. Okay, now today I'm going to use a different method of making my birds. Last week when I made the pull and pop cards, I stamped my birds, and then I showed you a clever way of being able to position the stamps on the block so that it's easier to cut out. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, go back to my last video, my pull and pop cards, and I shared a trick on how to position your stamps so that it's really, really easy to punch out. And I will go ahead and put that at the end of this video as well before I put it on YouTube. I'll put a link to my last one so you can find it there as well. All right, just doing a little bit of fussy cutting here, cutting out my branches. And then the last thing I have to do some fussy cutting is for my little nest. So instead of stamping and punching out my birds tonight, I am just going to punch them and use just cardstock instead of using colored cardstock. Instead of just using the basic white stamping and then punching out, we're going to bring in that beautiful Tahitian tide and make some beautiful birds just by using the punch. So there's lots of different ways you can use this. You don't have to stamp if you don't want to. Okay, I'll show you what I mean. Now, like this one here, I did stamping first and then I punched it out. Okay, for our project today, I am just going to bring in a piece of the Tahitian Tide. I'm going to grab my punch. Oh, and my goodness, I don't have the oomph tonight, and I'm going to have to punch 2. Okay, you're going to need 2 birds and 2 tiny wings. I'm using the tiny wings again. I think they're so cute. But there's also a larger wing, which has also been used as a layer to make like a different color on the breast, like a robin or something. Okay, so I'm gonna stamp out today instead of stamping first. All right, then I'm gonna grab a piece of the Mango Melody. And of course we have the tiny little portion here on the punch. You can punch out the cute little beaks. All right, so let's go ahead and make our little birds. Now remember, if you look at the cover, the birds are facing the opposite way. This one's facing this way, this one's facing that way. So all you gotta do is turn one of them over, okay? Not hard. So we have the one in the nest facing this way, the one flying facing this way. All right, so let's go ahead and put their eyes on there first, just because they need eyes. And they have these cute little, tiny little stamps to create the eyes. The one in the nest is gonna have closed eyes. And the one flying down, for his own safety, is going to have the open eyes. Okay, so there's the eyes. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and use a tiny little bit of Tombow and put the, oops, we don't need that part. Let me get rid of that so I don't get confused here. And we're going to just put a tiny dot, you can almost see. And then I'm going to grab my pick tool, use the putty end. And this is a great little gadget to pick up those tiny pieces, especially for me, because I have rather large hands, like the size of catcher's mitts, but these really help because once you get a little bit of glue on your fingers and you're trying to manipulate little tiny pieces, it gets to be very difficult. All right, last thing we're going to do is we're going to put another tiny dot on their back. And now grab my pick tool again, and we're gonna put the little wings. All right, this guy's flying, he's flapping away. All right, so let's go ahead and start constructing the front. Let's move that off here. Okay, so to be the center point or the focus of the front panel, I'm going to use a 3-inch circle, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and grab my little notes here because our little bird that is sitting in the nest is singing. So I'm just going to put that kind of up in the right-hand corner like that for her singing. All right, now let's go ahead and start putting things together here. I'm going to take my Tombow, put a little bit on the back of the 3-inch circle. Okay, now here comes our branch. Little bit of Tombow on the branch. Don't have to cover it. Okay, and that's going to go kind of parallel across, parallel to our center band there. All right, let's grab those dimensionals. We're going to go ahead and put those on the back of my bird's nest. Bird's nest on here. Then one on the back of our cute little mama bird. And she's gonna go right down in there. Oh, look at that, so cute. I love it, so cute. Now, if we look at my other one, this one I used Balmy Blue, and this one I'm using the Tahitian Tide. So you can see the difference there. If you'd like a lighter blue bird, the Balmy Blue works fabulous. Or if you'd like a brighter one, that kind of goes with the bright background and everything. Okay, now we need to have Papa Bird flying in, saving the day. And I just remembered we need his little legs. If you look here, we have his little feet. And I didn't pull that one out of the, here they are. I forgot to pull that one out of the stamp set. Here is the stamp set we're using, a cute little photopolymer. Really, really cute. I think I've used most of the images with you on my Facebook Lives. And what I did here, I took my Memento Black and I kind of decided where I wanted my bird to fly in from. Okay? And I just took the legs and kind of just guesstimated where they'd be. So they're just going to kind of be hanging down as he's making a beeline into the nest. Then I'm going to go ahead and put a little dimensional on the back. And here he comes, flying right in, getting ready to perch on the branch. So there it is. All right, let's go ahead and put our sentiment on. Okay, now I pulled a sentiment from a different set because I was looking for something that was kind of long and skinny to take up the bottom here. And I grabbed one from the Pansy Patch. This is an older set, still in the new annual, so it was held over. So this is still available. I love this. A little hello from me to you. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and grab that stamp and go ahead and put it on a block. And this is a 1/2 inch strip of the basic white. Gonna grab my Memento Black ink. And we're gonna try and get it stamped right in the middle there. There we go. Awesome. I'm having a good day with my stamping. Okay, and then all I'm gonna do is just snip off the other end with my snips. There we go. And I'm gonna go ahead and grab those dimensionals one more time. Turn over my sentiment. And let's put this right at the bottom like this. And there he is. How cute is that? You could add an extra bird or two if you'd like. It's really up to you and your creativity, but just to understand that these cute little covers are so easy to make. Very little cutting. And now let me show you how this works back here. Okay, there's our belly band way there at the top of the tablet. And here I'll show you how I can just slide it right out. Okay, now you can see that belly band much better. Okay, so when you finish a tablet, you can slide it out. And then you can put in a brand new one. Just make sure you give it a little bit of space so you can get that back in there. And you want to make sure that when you adhere your belly band to the back of your cover, that it's way up against the perforation at the top of your tablet. Okay, so that's that. One more little tip. When I used to make these for my customers or my team, I also used to include a coordinating pen. And people were always wondering, where did I get those coordinating pens? Well, I made them. And the pens that you use are the Pentel RSVP pens. You can get these at Walmart. I got a box of them on Amazon. They're very easy to get. They're not expensive at all. You just want to make sure they're the ones that have the clear barrel here. And what you're going to do is you're going to take a piece of the Designer Series paper. This is cut at 1 inch by 3 1/4 inches. you're going to open the barrel of the pen and bring it out along with the pen ink part, okay? Let me put this over here for now. You're going to grab your strip and you're going to roll it around. Just kind of fold it over and then roll it around that ink cartridge. Okay, it's not going to be completely against it, but you want it to be fairly tight so that you can slide it into the barrel. But if you look here, see, I've slid it around the ink pen, the ink part. Oops, and now it's falling out. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this back in, okay, and making sure to keep this nice and tight. It will go down into your, let me roll it again. I let it go a little bit. You want to keep it nice and tight so that it's smaller than the barrel and it will slide nicely down there. All right, I think I did better this time. Going in. Okay, and then you're just going to push it on down. And then as it gets to the top, you can always take your pick tool and push it all the way in, because it gets a little harder when there's not much of an end there. So you just kind of push it in like that. Okay, then you just replace your little pen cartridge, and there you have it. Isn't that so cute? So you can make a coordinating pen to go with your tablet. Isn't that so cute? Very easy little trick I learned, but it always adds something so nice to your gift if you're giving it away. All right, so that is it. That is my project today. Just took less than 20 minutes to do, and that's with all my talking. So these would be very, very simple to make. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. And if you make any, please take a picture of them and put it on my VIP page. I'd love to see what you come up with. I hope you guys who are purchasing your Songbird bundles will love it as much as I did. But this will be the end of all my Songbird projects. Coming up next week will be my Hues of Happiness suite. I'm going to show you some of the very cool projects I made with that. It's a beautiful floral suite. So come back again next Tuesday for another great project. Remember that all this information and a PDF will be available on my blog very soon after this Facebook Live. So I hope everybody has a great week. And if you're not doing anything on Saturday, I am participating in Handmade at the Hive, which is a little coffee shop in Dover. And they're having a bunch of makers set up. And I'm going to be there with some of my paper crafts as well as some of my new sewn items. And that goes from 10 to 2 on Saturday, weather permitting. We're not sure how it's going to be. But it's called Handmade at the Hive, and it's from 10 to 2 at the Hive in Dover, Pennsylvania. So if you're a York County person, come on, and I'd love to see you out there. I am maker number 40, and there's well over 50 different makers that are going to be there. So plenty of things to see. So I hope some of you will join me there on Saturday. Take care, everyone. Great to see you again, and keep on stamping. Bye now.